Imagine waking up feeling refreshed, focused, and in a good mood every day without needing multiple cups of coffee or energy drinks throughout the day. Sounds ideal, right? I'm sure most of us have sacrificed our sleep to make sure we submit our assignment before 11:59 p.m. or maybe just endlessly scrolling on TikTok, but this choice may be hurting our health more than we think. As someone who's researched medical journals, sleep studies, and neuroscience reports, I've learned how sleep is actually a silent killer in our lives, and I've also noticed a huge difference in my own when I've started prioritizing my sleep. And as shown here, 35% of US adults are not getting the recommended amount of sleep, according to the CDC, which is just really bad. And getting the right amount of sleep can really improve every aspect of your life. So, quality sleep significantly impacts our health and our brain. And today I will cover the physical effects of sleep, its role in mental performance and cognitive performance, and useful strategies to help improve your sleep. So let's start with how sleep influences our physical health. Sleep, if, Sleep supports essential biological functions like immune response, cell repair, and hormonal regulation. According to the National Sleep Foundation, sleep helps regulate processes like glucose metabolism, immune functioning, and cardiovascular health. Deprivation is also linked to heart problems as it increases blood pressure and stress hormones like cortisol, which increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Appetite regulating hormones can also be affected, which can lead to overeating, which can lead to gaining weight and overall putting you at more risk for heart disease, diabetes, and coronary artery disease. Studies also show that there were 24% more heart attacks for the first 3 to 4 days after clocks changed in March, but then a 21% reduction once we gained that hour back. It was also found that adults with 5 hours of sleep or less have a 200 to 300% higher risk of coronary artery buildup in the arteries, which can increase the risk of coronary artery disease. And here it just shows how sleep deprivation impacts every aspect of our body, like our central system, our heart, our muscles, our pancreas, our lymph nodes, and just literally everywhere. So it's just really important to get quality sleep. So now that we've seen how sleep affects our body, let's move on to the brain and cognitive function. So here it just shows the difference between a sleep-deprived brain, which is on the right, and then a non-sleep deprived brain, which is on the left. So it just shows that the healthy brain has much more brain activity, which is shown in the yellow and orange, versus a sleep-deprived brain. So it just shows that your brain is working so much better if you get quality sleep. Um, so it doesn't just affect how tired you are or anything, but it literally affects your brain's ability to do basically anything. So the Sleep Foundation states that sleep plays a key role in our ability to concentrate, store and recall information, and think critically. And some of the first functions to degrade under sleep deprivation are attention span, working memory, logical reasoning, and problem solving. And over time, these issues worsen, just making us slower, more forgetful, less capable of multitasking, and overall just sacrifices our importance in daily activities like our reaction time on the road or just work or school. Sleep cycles also support brain activity, brain creativity, and promote long-term brain health, which is shown in this diagram here, with vivid dreaming, light sleep, and deep sleep, and then the cycles within that. And just hitting every cycle is really important to maximize your brain's ability to work. So the REM and NREM sleep work together to reorganize memories and stimulate creative thinking. And these stages allow the brain to process information and generate new ideas. And with less sleep, you can miss out on some of these cycles, which just limits our ability to do those things. And lack of sleep disorders like insomnia or sleep apnea have also been linked to cognitive decline and dementia. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep so you don't get insomnia and don't get sleep apnea. Sleep also stabilizes our mood and helps our mental health. So the CDC found that people who slept for 6 hours or less were about 2.5 times more likely to experience frequent mental distress than those who had over 6 hours. And insufficient sleep also, um, oh my gosh, insufficient sleep also leads to us not being able to regulate our emotions properly, which can ultimately lead to imbalancing our stress hormones and neurotransmitters, which can worsen or lead to issues like depression and anxiety, which are pretty common today. And here it just shows that it's kind of a never-ending cycle between sleep and mental health. So if you have poor sleep, it can lead to mental health issues, and if you have health issues, it can lead to lack of sleep. So it kind of just keeps going and going. And here also just shows the correlation between sleep issues like insomnia and mental health disorders. So 35% of the adult population experiences symptoms of insomnia, and 40% of those people also have mental health disorder. So it just shows that they go pretty hand in hand. So finally, let's explore some useful strategies to help improve your sleep. These are all recommended by the Mayo Clinic staff. So first, they say to stick to a consistent sleep schedule, which means 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and getting this every day and going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on the weekends, just to reinforce your body's natural sleep to wake cycle. And they say that if you have trouble falling asleep within 20 minutes, to go outside of your room and engage in a relaxing activity until you do feel sleepy. Then, second, they also say to create a good sleep environment, which means making sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, cool, which can mean even using blackout curtains or a white noise machine or earplugs to help prevent disturbances. And they also say to avoid screens with blue light before you go to bed, like your phone, which is pretty well known. And they also say to resolve your stress before going to bed. And some things that can help with that include getting organized, setting priorities, delegating tasks, and meditation. And I know meditation can sound kind of silly, but personally, I've used meditation in my own life, and I think it works really well, but everyone's different. Then lastly, they say you might be mindful of food and drink. So that means avoiding large meals, caffeine or alcohol or other substances close to bed. And some people think that alcohol won't disturb your sleep because it initially makes you feel sleepy for many people, but it actually can disturb your sleep later in the night, which means you're not meeting all the important sleep cycles that were mentioned earlier. And stimulants like nicotine or caffeine also are highly not recommended because they take hours to wear off, so your sleep will be very much interrupted. So, as we wrap up, let's reflect on what sleep really means to us. Sleep isn't just rest, but it's restoration for our bodies. We've seen how it enhances our physical health, strengthens our brain function, and stabilizes our emotions. And you've also seen some helpful tricks to help improve your sleep. So, tonight, let's tonight, instead of maybe just one more episode or one more school, remember that tonight's good night sleep might just be your missing piece. Thank you.